Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Thursday night. And if you didn't know what that means, it means it's time for DOB 410 sprint car action. But this is no normal DOB 410 event here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the main event. 2019's DOB Advantage Xtreme Lubricants 410 Knoxville Nationals. Final night here tonight. The big show that we've been qualifying for 3 nights this week. It's game time. It's time to go. And we are ready to kick it off with tonight's C main. Right now we have 10 cars signed in to do battle. And we are awaiting this to get started. We're probably looking at about 4 more minutes of practice. And we will advance this practice session and get ready to do some racing here to start off the night. C main lineup, as it stands, looks like this. On the pole, Brian Johnson with Nicholas McGathey to his outside. Brett Strickler and Zane Scott, row number 2. Michael Sheridan, Billy Rowley, row 3. Tyler Henselman, David Flick. Bo Brunig, Trey Schmidt. William Duvall II, Tim Berner. Jonathan Lowe and Aaron Schaefer. Nathan Davis and Todd LeBeau. Ryan Pace and Brandon Igo. And John Bragman and Jordan Hack will round out your field. Those are the 20 cars that are qualified into the C main. We're taking 4 from that C main onto the B main. And then we will have 24 cars battling it out for 4 spots in tonight's main event. Each one of these races has its own lobby, so we will have a 10-minute practice session and run the C main. We will then go to a 15-minute practice session, run the B main, which is 25 laps. And then we will have a 20-minute practice session to get us ready for tonight's 35-lap A main. But we started all off right here with a 20-lap feature, which should kick off in about 2 minutes. Let's talk about the guys that don't have to worry about anything right now. And those drivers, of which there are 20 of them, Night 1 winner, Monday night's winner, Justin Thomas in the Mode Motorsports machine. He is sitting on tonight's pole in the A main. Kevin Click, Team SETI driver, will start outside row number 1. Ernie Williams Jr. and Kevin Hanley, row 2. Kendall Tucker, James Tiernan, row 3. Kyle Sosnowski and Braden Eiler, row 4. Tyson Landis, Alex Smulders. John Lepresto, Jacob Fields. Joshua Steinke, Peyton Grease. Ryan Scheidt, and Kyle Stoltz. Those are the guys that made it through from their qualifying nights. However, last night, we had what we called the Hard Knocks night, which was the final opportunity for guys to make it into tonight's main event without going through the alphabet soup here. Last night it was Tyler Schell who took the victory over Anthony Lepresto, Dylan Workman, and Josh Close. Those 4 drivers will start 21st through 24th. And the 4 drivers that we take from tonight's B main will start 17th through 20th. So that is what we are up against right now. We talked about Justin Thomas being the Night 1 winner. We talked about Tyler Schell picking up the Hard Knocks night. Tyler, of course, ran into some trouble on his qualifying night, which put him into that position to gamble his points total and head out onto the racetrack last night. And he did everything that he needed to do. But we have not talked about the guy who won on night 2 in such a convincing fashion that I gotta believe he is the favorite going into tonight's main event. And we're talking about the Black Diamond driver, Ernie Williams Jr. Ernie made a big statement on Tuesday night, taking race or night 2 in just such a commanding fashion that it was hard to not say this is the guy to beat. And you got to remember, this is pro level competition here. Every one of these drivers out here is one of the best on the simulation. And Ernie Williams Jr. made everybody on night 2 look like they were in a different class, or more like he was in a different class, a class above. And we're going to be watching that 91 car here tonight, because I got to say, he's starting 3rd. There's a lot of good drivers out there. I think Justin Thomas is another driver who'd say, hey, you're going to have to beat me. But in my book, tonight, the guy, if you're going to bet on somebody, you bet on that Black Diamond 91. And we're going to keep an eye on that as the night progresses. We are about to advance into our C main here as practice is just about completed. We've got a 20-lap C main coming momentarily to kick off tonight's event. It is Nathan Davis who has the fastest lap in the practice session getting ready for tonight's race. Billy Rowley in 2nd, Bo Brunig 3rd, Jordan Hack 4th, and Trey Schmidt right now with the 5th quickest lap. Like we said, there's 20 cars possible for this C main, but we only have 10 cars in the lobby right now, so that looks like what we will be starting with. I think they're probably waiting to give some guys some time, but they're running out of time, and we will be advancing very shortly. We are live on twitch.tv/elbowsuptv, as well as the DOB Facebook and YouTube pages. I do urge you, however, if you can watch on Twitch tonight is the night to do it. The best way to share the Dirty Old Bastards Racing League and help the league grow is to get us higher on those Twitch rankings, on the Twitch leaderboards, and that attracts more people to come in and see this league for the first time. And anybody that's been watching these broadcasts knows that when you see it, you are a believer. There's no way to deny the quality of racing that the Dirty Old Bastards Racing Leagues put on. So I urge you, if you can, head on over to twitch.tv/elbowsuptv. Hang out with us there. But if you can't, we appreciate each and every one of you. Glad you're hanging out with us here tonight, and you will not be disappointed because these guys are going to put on a show that you will be absolutely proud of. I guarantee it. This is going to be an interesting lineup. And wow, David Flick, for whatever reason, he had some issues. He was unable to get loaded into this race lobby before they actually started rolling. So David Flick, already behind the 8 ball. Wow, that's really just a terrible turn of events for him. Billy Rowley was scheduled to start in the 6th position, but the 2 drivers on the outside row in front of him did not show up for tonight's C main. So Billy Rowley is now starting outside front row, which is excellent for him. We know you got to get into the top 4 to advance to the B, and to not have to worry about driving through traffic in the early going is going to be a big help. Brian Johnson on pole, Billy Rowley 2nd. David Flick is now loaded into the lobby, but he's going to have to start from pit lane. He's going to need a caution to catch this field. Bo Brunig outside row number 2 with Trey Schmidt, Nathan Davis and Tim Berner, Brandon Igo, Todd LeBeau, and Jordan Hack rounding out your field. We've got 9 cars on track, 10 cars in tonight's server, and we're about to go green for 20 laps to determine who is moving on to tonight's B main. Brian Johnson going to give him green off of turn 4. Starting off pretty slow. He got a good jump. Billy Rowley was able to hang with him quite well. Trey Schmidt settling in to 3rd place on the outside lane. He's got Bo Brunig racing with him right now. Nathan Davis on the outside looking in. Now he's to the outside of Bo Brunig. Contact there. I thought those boys were going for a ride, but they were able to separate it before they had too much trouble. Ooh, problems for Trey Schmidt. He did not get into turn 3 very well. He lost 2 spots and his transfer spot right now. Settling into 5th spot is Trey Schmidt. Billy Rowley has gotten to the outside of Brian Johnson. Johnson puts the slider in, and Rowley, the over-under, to take control of the race lead here in the early going. The team said he's 79, making his way to the front. Now Nathan Davis sets his sights on the second place Brian Johnson. Davis to the inside there in 1. He's going to put the slider in. Johnson going to try to fight back, but unable to do so. Nathan Davis now sole possession of that second spot. Bo Brunig under fire. He's allowed Trey Schmidt to his outside, and Trey Schmidt now takes control of that transfer spot, and he's not done either. Slide job on Brian Johnson, slides up right in front of his nose. Johnson had to get out of the throttle, and now 4th place and under fire is the pole sitter Brian Johnson. Bo Brunig with the slider, going to take away that preferred line. Johnson was going for the over-under, but Brunig actually left him room on the outside, so he was unable to telegraph that appropriately, and it cost him that 4th spot. So now Johnson is on the outside looking in, and he's got Jordan Hack on his rear bumper for another position. Billy Rowley still leads this race. Nathan Davis has caught the back bumper of that 79. Trey Schmidt trying to utilize that slider line to make some waves and close the gap there to second place. Davis starting to think about where he's going to make his move. You saw him poke his nose to the outside. Now he dives to the inside as the caution flag waves. Try to find out what happened here. David Flick and Brandon Igo are off track. As you can see, the reason for the caution. Wow, we had a couple of incidents here. Let's start with Jordan Hack. You can see there was contact there with Brian Johnson. He went to make the move to take the position away. Across the nose of Brian Johnson he went, and as he hit the fence, the 2 drivers of Johnson and LeBeau made contact off of turn 2, which ultimately brought the caution out. Man, that was a heavy, heavy lick for both of those cars. Let's get back to live, and as you can see, all 3 of those machines now parked. Johnson, Flick, and Todd LeBeau out of this race, who joins David Flick and, well, Jordan Hack. Actually, Brandon Igo is the other car out of the race. Jordan Hack is still on track. As you can see, we have 6 cars on track vying for those 4 transfer spots. This is a 20-lap race. Caution flag laps do not count, which means the white flag will now fly on lap 23. You see Nathan Davis right now, the hard charger. He's passed 5 cars to make his way to second spot. Not sure if he wanted that caution or not. This gives Rowley a chance to make some adjustments. And he is back on the gas. You can see the gap that he was able to pull there on the start. And now Davis is under fire from Trey Schmidt. You never know what kind of a groove that driver was in before the caution. Schmidt doesn't care. He's going to drop his back bumper right in front of the nose of the 36. Davis going to fight back, but this is exactly what Billy Rowley wants to see. You guys go ahead and have your slider fest, and I will just continue to pull away out front. You can see him over the cushion there, probably not exactly what he wanted, so he wasn't able to pull away much on that lap. But as these guys fight, it will help him to pull a gap there and not have to worry about any sort of challenge from behind. Rally, known as the Tuna Can 79 on Twitch, had a very rough qualifying night. You see Schmidt, his slide jobs are getting closer and closer. That is telling me that that bottom side is starting to come in. I think Rally's going to have to make an adjustment here, or he's going to lose the race lead pretty quickly. You can see him, he went to the middle of the track to slide up to the cushion. Trey Schmidt utilizing that slider line. He had to lift there to not hit Rally. Now he and Davis are side by side. Can Schmidt clear the 79? He's going to leave him room there. Fair play. This is a hell of a race for the lead here in tonight's C-Main as the laps wind down. Schmidt was able to clear Rally before Rally dropped the over-under. Now, once more, Rally to the bottom side of the track in 4. Now Nathan Davis comes in. Rally up to the top of the track. Schmidt trying the over-under, but Davis is in the way. He somehow gets to the bottom. Now, can he clear the 79? He will. Rally off of turn 4 once more, pulling side by side with the 12 of Schmidt. Rally going to put the slider in, but not go all the way up the track. That might have caught Schmidt off guard a little bit, who now makes a late move. I think Rally is winning the slider battle at the moment. Schmidt is trying something a little different. You see him put that late slider on, and I think Rally had to lift. Just momentarily, Rally lost a little bit of momentum there, so Schmidt was able to get what he wanted as the white flag flies. Right now, Bo Brunig is in 4th. 5th place, Tim Berner is trying to make the move. Schmidt has cleared Rally. Here is the race for the lead. Rally thinking better of it. He knows he's in the show. Nothing aggressive here. Trey Schmidt is going to win. Billy Rally 2nd. Nathan Davis comes home 3rd, and Bo Brunig is going to take the final transfer spot to tonight's B main. So, ladies and gentlemen, did I not frickin' tell you that you're not going to be disappointed here tonight? We had 6 cars on track, and they just put on one hell of a show for the C main. That was the C main, all right? So if you're here hanging out with us on Twitch or on Facebook or on YouTube, don't go anywhere because we've got 2 more wild-ass races coming your way. T-Butt, thank you for the host. Jazz Daddy, appreciate the follow, my friend. We're going to try to get these guys in Discord, get some interviews going here before we get to the B main. Let's talk to the man who took victory here in the C main, Trey Schmidt, pulling out a late maneuver there to take home the C main victory. Trey, you had to do some battling there, and at first, you actually went out of the transfer positions early on in the going there, but you were able to settle in, get back into 3rd place, and the restart was when you were able to start making your move. Talk about that race for us. I can see he is talking. He's got the green circle there. We can't hear you, Trey. If you can hear me, we might have to adjust the mic there for a moment, see if we can get you. We'll see if we can pick him up here momentarily. Discord gives you some troubles every once in a while. Fantastic way to start the night, though. I mean, you just can't really ask for much more. 3-way battle there for the race lead in the waning stages. While we wait for Trey to work on his microphone there, and feel free to shout it out and test that bad boy, Trey, as we talk here. Let's talk to
What about now?
There we go. There's our race winner, Trey Schmidt. Talk about that race for us, because it was not easy for you there.
No, it wasn't. I probably threw a couple sliders that might not have needed, but I got into Billy the other night, and he almost took me out right there, and we settled it on the track. And at this point, I haven't made probably 3 laps in 3 days, and I'm here to win and just go forward at this point without touching someone. But I'm gonna be throwing Hail Marys all night, and they're gonna be clean ones. But that's just what's left to come tonight.
It is that time where you've got to put up or shut up. I mean, you're in the C main here, you're able to take victory, and now you've got to come from 20th spot or 21st spot, sorry, in tonight's B main to try and make your way to the A. We saw some guys not show up here for the C. It's possible we could see that for the B main, but most likely you got to have a lot of cars to pass. So is that the mindset going in? Are we looking at aggression to try to get to the front as fast as possible?
I'm gonna run as many laps as I can in practice to wear the track out as much as possible, and so it's at least 2 grooves, and you could go top or bottom there. It was pretty racy, so yeah, I'm gonna go hard from the start for sure. I can gain. Hopefully, I can get 5 or 6 spots and get a caution, and thank God it's a few more laps too, because I'm gonna need it.
Trey Schmidt, your winner here in tonight's C main. Congratulations, my friend. Good luck going forward.
Thanks, buddy.
Let's talk to Mr. Billy Rowley, who came home in second. Billy, you had the lead there for quite a while. Looked like the bottom started to come in for some of those guys there. Talk about that race and how the track played into the finish there.
Well, I mean, I shouldn't have even been in the sea. I got ran over last night by Trey, and then he ran over me again in this one, but somehow both are my fault. So cheers to that. No, it's just been a rough week, but that was a good race. After he tried running me over going into three, he ran me clean. I think we got into each other once on a slider at one point, but I don't know if it was just net code or blinking or whatever. But I don't know how in the hell it's my fault when somebody runs into the ass of me and it's my fault. I'm literally off the gas. You have to drive these cars beyond nose wing. That's the key to these things in order to race them with respect. That's the biggest thing. You know, Nathan, me and him have talked over the last couple of days about racing the way that it needs to be done, and a lot of guys in my chat the same way. I don't know what else to say. We're in the back of the B, and like Trey said, I hope we get some yellows, and hope we're not in them for once this week, and see if we can move forward a little bit.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I bring everybody into the broadcast booth at the same time, because it's that old adage, okay? You fight in the pits, you go to jail. You fight on the front stretch, and you end up with more money in your pay pocket before the end of the evening. So, this is a big event here. The people get their emotions fired up here, and everybody's going for it, but that's all fair. It's fun, and that's why we do this stuff. But, Billy, before we let you go, I want to talk about your mindset going in, because you talked about running into some trouble. We know this is a 25-lap race that we're going into, so it's basically what we saw from the features on all three of the first nights. So is there going to be an element of being patient, trying to make passes, but making sure you're not getting yourself into trouble in the early goings? Or do you think it's going to be balls out all the way? Because with 25 laps, 24 cars on track, there's going to be some big moments out there.
Oh no, it's going to be balls out, because you've got a lot of guys. Even though I think the front four are probably going to be fairly conservative, but I think once you start getting back 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, there's going to be a lot of aggression. I don't think that you're going to see a lot of dirty stuff, but I think in like a normal DOB race or a heat race or something like that, some things that you might not throw, you're going to take a risk and throw it. Because if the track's like it is there, it's going to be basically one lane around the top there's no real way to run the bottom and be quick. So, I mean, you're going to have to basically throw sliders and be fast enough to clear the guy. So I honestly, in this one, truthfully, I hope I'm wrong, but I see a lot of carnage coming up, and I don't know. I hope not, because I want a good, clean race. But I think it's just going to be balls out. I don't really think there's going to be any methodical thinking involved. I think it's just going to be full on crack a beer and send this thing and hope for the best.
Well, if the best does indeed come, I mean, if you're starting in 22nd, then if lots of guys crash and you somehow make it through, then that's good for the guys coming out of the C main. But we'll have to see how it goes. Congratulations on your second place finish, and good luck going forward tonight.
Thank you, and see you guys in the B. It'll be fun, I promise.
So let's talk to Mr. Nathan Davis, bringing it home third here tonight in the C main. Nathan, that was clearly a heated battle there between the top three there. And look, it was absolutely fantastic to watch. Was it as much fun to drive?
Oh, yeah, it was a blast for sure. There at the, before that first caution come out, I was just following Billy. I wasn't going to push him no harder than what I was, just riding in line. I mean, I was second. If I were to pass him, I'm going to start either on the inside of him or 10 feet in front of him. Just trying to transfer. I've had the same amount of bad luck as both of those guys this week, and on different occasions of the qualifier and then last night in the Hard Knocks. It's just been event after event, and hopefully the B main's not the same way as the other B mains have been, and we can manage to work our way up to the front. I mean, the car's feeling pretty good. Hopefully the track's a lot better than what it was there. It was starting to come in towards the end of the race, but it was still pretty one line. Hopefully it slickens off and he lets us practice and wear it out a little more.
Yeah, it looks like we should have about 5 minutes more out of the practice session here, and we should have a lot more cars, which is going to change things out. And I know Billy said that he feels like the top side is going to be the place to go, and I want to talk to you about that because the Black Diamond cars seemingly have been really, really hooked up on the outside of the track. And we know that's where most of you guys prefer to run around Knoxville if it's a viable option. So do you think that plays into your hands if you end up with a track that puts you on the cushion?
Oh, for sure. If it's up there on the cushion and people are fading to the bottom, like I've seen this week, a lot of people tend to go to the bottom, whether it's because their car is not set up for the cushion or just because they don't prefer to run up there. Our cars are set up to go up there. They run up there smooth. And once they're hooked up there and the traction's there, I mean, the cars will go to the front. I mean, you watch Ernie go from 18th to 1st, and as long as the track slickens off and there's multiple lines, the setup will work. It's just the driver then. The car is nothing to blame.
Well, there you have it from Nathan Davis himself. Congratulations on that third place finish, and we'll be watching, hoping you have some good luck here going forward.
Thanks, sir.
So that is the top 3 from tonight's C main, and we are getting ready to go racing with the B main here momentarily. I know we've got a whole bunch of people watching out here tonight. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to twitch.tv/elbowsuptv and the DOB Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't go anywhere. B main is starting momentarily. Now, I will say this. You heard what they said. There's going to be 15 minutes of practice before we get into the actual race. So now is the time where you can go get you some snacks, get you some drinks. You saw what kind of racing we had in the C main, and that was from the top 3. Those guys are going to be starting on the tail of this race. 24 cars are scheduled to start this race for 25 laps. We're only taking 4. So if the 3 fastest guys in the C main put on that much of a show, and then you heard the interviews after the damn race, those boys were fired up. Trey Schmidt said he's sending it. Billy didn't appreciate it. There's more to come, so please do not go anywhere. Hang tight with us. I know that some of these practice laps are going to wear on us here because we got 2 more practice sessions to go before we really get going for tonight's A main. But the reason why we're doing these practice sessions is because the more chances these guys have to break in this racetrack, to wear this racetrack out, the better the racing becomes. And that's what we have been taught by the DOB Racing League, because when the track starts to slick off, that's when we get fantastic racing, and that is what we are looking to get as we put some practice laps in here to prepare the racetrack for the B main. Looks like I have been joined again in the broadcast booth by Mr. Billy Rowley. I'm sure
I'm just here to shoot the breeze, fill time.
All right, yeah, because we're gonna have plenty of that. Like I was explaining to everybody, we get these practice laps in, and it definitely pays off. But we will have to kind of keep ourselves entertained as we wait for tonight's B main. But as I said,
hey, would you like to hear from a couple of A main starters tonight?
I mean, we can do that if you've got some people to bring in here.
I got a couple people to bring in. Hold on, I'll be right back.
So we'll see who Billy brings in here. You never know who he's going to bring to the dance. We are loaded up in tonight's B main lobby. I'm going to transition this over so you can check out the action as well.
See, I was going to invite Tyler, but as you guys know from hearing him on the podium every damn week, he's not much of a talker. So I brought in the flamboyant Mr. Jimbo and Braden Eiler.
So there you have it. Braden Eiler, driver of the Kinzer Sim Team number 5.
But I still do love Tyler Schell. I just want to say that very, very clear. I do love some Tyler.
As well as James Tiernan, driver of the Elbows Up Sim Sport number 98. These guys joining us here in the broadcast booth. They have the absolute privilege of getting to watch these early races here without any worries of missing tonight's big show. So you guys, you got to feel pretty good to be able to kick back and check out all the action as these people pick each other off before they get a chance to take a shot at you.
Here, I'll take a stab at this first. But yes, it's nice being able to watch, but at the same time, watching Billy go through that heat and just hoping that, or not heat, but C-main, and hoping he doesn't get right-reared or people just don't tangle him and, kind of muck up making it to the B. It's kind of tense, I'll be honest. I was kind of worried there a little bit, but everything turned out all right. Hopefully we get some good racing going on in the B as well as the A, and don't have to worry so much.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, Billy Rowley is the team boss for Elbows Up Sim Sport, where Mr. James Tiernan...
obviously, I know how to pick them, not drive.
Tyler Schell are also in this event. If I'm not mistaken, Elbows Up Sim Sport has a driver in the B with Jeffrey Stewart as well. So we should see him turning some laps here. If he's not at work, he might be at work. But I'm looking here, trying to find out how many guys we've got loaded in. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cars loaded into the practice session right now. Jimmy Crow out in YouTube land calling Ernie Williams Jr. for the feature win tonight. We talked about him being the favorite and the guy that really stood out in the qualifying nights. And I'm going to throw this to Mr. Braden Eiler because we were talking about favorites earlier, Braden, and you were kind of scoffing a little bit. You feel like you've got a pretty good piece under you and going to have something to say about who's up front towards the end of the night.
Yeah, I felt really good during the qualifier night. I just got a little bit of bad luck there in the middle of the race, but I feel like if nothing really bad happens, I can definitely have a car to win or just be a top 3 car. But yeah, I think I have a really good shot, and let's see if Cole makes a V-main and get both of us up here.
And that is Braden's teammate, Cole Newhoffen, who he is talking about. Taken to the track in that retro Steve Kinzer car, painted by the Tuna Can himself, Paints by Tuna Can, which you can find on Facebook. And while I'm talking about things that you can find on Facebook and people who help us out here at Elbows Up TV, as well as the Dirty Old Bastards Racing League, let's talk about Advantage Xtreme Lubricants, who are helping put this event on itself. Big shout out to them getting involved with this 410 Knoxville Nationals. JZ iRacing Photography has provided the winner's trophy for tonight's event. Check them out on Facebook. Absolutely fantastic photos that Mr. Jeremy Zarfos has been taking and putting out there in Facebook land. War Faction Esports is providing sticker packs to the winner each night. They've been a big supporters here with the league this season. We appreciate them. Check them out on Facebook as well. Brown and Miller Racing Solutions coming along, offering the Hard Charger Award as well. So those guys, a new sponsor here with the DOB. Appreciate their help. And then good old faithful Wicked Energy Gum for offering the Quick Time Award. Quick Time came home with a pack of gum on each of the qualifying nights. So we appreciate all the help that they have given us. You also have a scroll there in the bottom left-hand corner where we've got all the sponsors that scroll through. And we have a lot of help to put these deals on. We appreciate each and every one of our sponsors, and we hope you guys appreciate and help support them as well. The best thing you can do is hit those websites right there and enter that DOBRL code when you make an order, and that is what tells the guys at Wicked Cushion and Wicked Energy Gum, Wicked Relief Gum with CBD, that this is something that people really love to watch and love to support and appreciate their support of putting this on, because literally, if we did not have their support, there would be no broadcast. So we want to make those guys happy so that we can continue to do this. We appreciate their support. And, of course, with the racing community, we always try to support those guys in return. And let me tell you, I chewed my Wicked Relief Gum with CBD earlier before I started the broadcast. Went to the chiropractor today. I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not telling you, blowing smoke, just to tell you about the sponsors and everything else, creating fake stuff. Now, I'm not a fake news purveyor, but I went to the chiropractor earlier today. My good old friend, Mr. Frame, cracked 4 bones in my back, and I was quite sore. I come home, I pop the Wicked Energy or the Wicked Relief Gum with CBD in my mouth, and I am sitting comfortably right now with no soreness. That's the God's honest truth. I was not a CBD guy until I tried the gum. I am now a CBD guy. So I would recommend that highly. It's good tasting, too. You'd think that'd be gross. You really do. I thought it would be gross. It's not gross. So we are hanging out here. I do believe we've got about 5 minutes left in this practice session. Cole Newhoffen is P1 right now. Adam Elby in the 74 is P2. Let's right along with Adam Elby here in the Swindell Speed Lab machine as we talk about Jason Randolph being P3 in practice. Nathan Davis, who made the race through the C main, currently 4th. And 5th place does belong to Curtis Merriman in the 371. As you can see, still a lot of moisture on this track. These guys are out there trying to wear it out. We have 19 cars signed in right now out of a possible 24. I know those C-Main guys are really happy with any car that does not show up, because that's one less car that they have to pass. You can see Adam Elby doing battle with Weston Newell, the Team SETI driver there in the 222. So, we are hanging out here in the booth. We also have been joined by Dylan Workman. Mr. Workman is locked into the A main. He was one of the guys that made it through the Hard Knocks event on Wednesday night. He is 23rd starting position for the A main. Dylan, how are you feeling going into this event? And I'm sure you're glad that you're locked in and not having to worry about finding one of those top 4 spots in this race here.
Oh, for sure. Just looking at the lineup, there's a lot of tough competition. And I know if I didn't transfer, I'd be starting. I would have been starting in the C main if none of us transferred last night. So definitely glad to be locked in.
I'm looking here in the Discord. I'm trying to sort some stuff out because it is saying that Skylar Brown is ineligible for this race, and I do believe that he is scheduled to start 10th. So we're having a little bit of an issue with the lobby itself. which would be really unfortunate if Skylar wasn't able to make it in, because he is, if I'm not mistaken, he was leading points in one of the DOB leagues. I cannot remember which one it was, but Brown has been one of the strongest drivers here in Season 3 competition. Hopefully we can get everybody in. We are about to go racing here in 2 to 3 minutes. This track starting to wear in. We will advance this practice session to where we will get the 25-lap B main going. Like I said, we got a little downtime here. Now's the time to get your snacks, head to the restroom, get you something to drink. Adult beverage, if that is your choice, whatever it takes. Appreciate you hanging out with us through the practice session. Maybe not the most exciting thing, but if you saw the C main, you know how exciting it gets in DOB competition. We heard the battle on the Discord interviews with Billy Rowley and Trey Schmidt. Trey said that he's going to send it all night long, and Billy did not appreciate it. And those boys already heated with each other, and they will be starting side by side here tonight. So there's more fun to come, I guarantee it. 20 cars signed in. Skylar Brown still not in the lobby. I'm sure Chris Roberts is working on it. I don't know if there's anything that he can do, though, after the lobby has been initiated. That might be an unfortunate thing here for the guy who is scheduled to start 10th in this race. Mason Hannigan out there turning laps in the Team SETI machine. See him doing battle with Nathan Davis. Craig Dunn also signed up for this event. Sean Wallenfels Jr. in the Black Diamond machine, turning some laps there behind Adam Elby. Dawson Hess having a little bit of an issue there, but he's been very quick here at Knoxville. Brent Hobson as well. You saw him smack the wall there as he was going around those cars that were parked prone on the racetrack. This might be the guy to watch, though. Cole Newhoffen in the 11. Where is he scheduled to start? Mr. Newhoffen is scheduled to start in the 8th spot. And he was the guy who on, I believe it was Monday night, came from, I think, 18th spot and ended up finishing 2nd. So fantastic drive for Newhoffen. And we have advanced into tonight's B main. I will say this, another driver who is not, oh, no, that's not true. John Batista is in here. I was going to say, these guys have gotten lucky because that 54 Black Diamond machine driven by John Batista was very quick the other night, and he is one of the best at Knoxville. That's why I didn't recognize him, because he's got that retro Brian Paulus scheme on. So I did not recognize that car. He normally drives the 54, but he is here in this event, and that'll be another guy to watch right there. So you can see he's sitting right in front of Newhoffen. Those two boys are going to be ones to watch for sure. Skylar Brown in the Facebook chat. Dude, we are sick for you, man. That really, really sucks that he was unable to get into this lobby. Scheduled to start 10th. One of the best drivers we've seen in Season 3. Really unfortunate. I hate that. Chris Roberts, our DOB admin, starting from the pole here. Dawson Hess to his outside in the 257. Craig Dunn and Weston Newell make a Team SETI row number 2. Larry Moody and John Batista row number 3. Adam Elby and Cole Newhoff in row number 4. Mason Hannigan and Curtis Merriman, row 5. Tyler File and John Harper. Taylor Howell, Sean Wallenfels. Brent Hobson, Jason Randolph. And then our C main drivers, Trey Schmidt, Billy Rowley, Nathan Davis, and Bo Brunig. Remember, Schmidt in the 12 and Rowley in the 79. They're already mad at each other. So let's keep an eye on that.
Now, real quick before we go green, it'll be interesting to see those guys coming from the back like Davis, who have got plenty of experience. Be interesting to see if they can cut through the field quick enough to make that transfer.
We are getting ready to go racing here. 25 laps, going green off of turn 4. Chris Roberts gives it to him. Great start for Roberts, who was able to hop out front. Dawson Hess holds off Craig Dunn, who is on the inside of his teammate Weston Newell there. Ooh, Dunn contact there with Dawson Hess. He goes to the inside of the track. He's able to save it, but look at all these cars driving by. Really unfortunate there. Now contact between Taylor Howell and Nathan Davis. Bo Brunig gets caught up in that. Everybody straightens it out, though. No caution. And let me point out one driver here. We saw him come from the C main. Billy Rowley was up the 13th spot. He just had a little bit of contact with a couple other cars. You can see they're still beating and banging out there. So Schmidt has made his way around into that 13th spot. You can see Craig Dunn back there. But Rowley was really on the move there in the early going. We said this race was going to be aggressive. You can see Dawson Hess now leading this race. I don't know what happened to Chris Roberts. There, Wallenfels in the fence. Roberts back to 6th spot right now. He was leading the race. Not sure if they had some contact out front there. I'm afraid to back it up because the laps are going fast and furious here, but we do have a caution flag. Let's see what happened to our race leaders. We'll see if we can find it. All right, here's Christopher Roberts leading this race into turn 3. Looks like Weston Newell trying to work the outside there. Roberts gets into the cushion a little hard. That turns him sideways, catches Newell. Wow, Newellhoffen got some of that as well. And Cole Newellhoffen dropped back to 13th spot after that contact. So now what brought out the caution? Here's Wallenfels having his issue. Cole Newellhoffen slides in front of him, and there it is. That turned Wallenfels sideways in front of Craig Dunn, and that's what brought out the caution. So now we got a pretty comprehensive idea of what was going on there. Wallenfels right now in the 16th spot. There's your top 10. Number 1 is Dawson Hess. I'm not sure why his name's not showing up for us there, but he is the man in the lead right now. You see John Batista and Adam Elby up 4 spots. Larry Moody holding on to the final transfer spot right now in 4th. Trey Schmidt and Billy Rowley, drivers who were doing battle in the C main, have made their way to 11th and 12th respectively. So 6 spots each that those drivers have made since the beginning of this race. And we are getting ready to go back green here on this next lap. Caution flag laps do not count. White flag will fly on lap 28. Dawson Hess going to give him green off of turn 4. He's got John Batista on his back bumper. Batista into the back bumper of Dawson Hess, who timed that start perfectly. Adam Elby to the inside. Ooh, caution flag flies. Problems for Cole Newellhoffen. You see him in the fence. He's trying to get out, but I don't think it's going to happen. And there he goes. See Newellhoffen doing battle there. Making contact with Curtis Merriman and absolutely putting himself into the wall. Let me get a different viewpoint of this. Newhoffen started on the bottom of the track. He gets to the top here. Off of turn number 2. Those two seemingly had a coming together. Not sure if Newhoffen got into the cushion and that pushed him down the track or what. See Jason Randolph also pulling into the pits there. So 2 cars retiring here from this point of the race. There's your top 10 once more. Billy Rowley, the big winner there. He was able to make 2 spots on that little turn 1, turn 2 race there. He did not, it was not the caution. It wasn't the cars crashing that he passed. So he was able to get a couple of cars before that caution come out. Tyler File right there in the top 10 as well. Harper up 6 spots, currently in 6th. Remember, we're only taking 4 here, so Weston Newell and John Harper, the 2 that are looking to make their way into this field. Lap 31 becomes our white flag lap. And we are going to get back to green flag racing coming off of turn 4 here. Lights are out on the pace truck. That is absolutely a Brian Paulus skin in second. Very old school that John Batista is running here. Better start this time for Batista, but Hess still got out to a really good jump. LB and Moody right there with him. We talked about those Black Diamond cars working well on the cushion. That is where John Batista is running right now. Let's check in with our pole sitter, Chris Roberts, who's trying to make his way back forward after contact early on. He is on the inside of the racetrack, currently in 7th. Wow, behind them, here's the race. Billy Rowley through the center of Mason Hannigan and Tyler File. He's going to take both of those spots off of turn 4. Move Billy Rowley into 8th place in this race, and now he's going to set his sights on Chris Roberts. Rowley made it through the C, and he's trying to make his way forward. Only taking the top 4 to the A main. Now we've got a race for the lead. Dawson Hess has moved to the inside of the racetrack, and John Batista is driven around the outside. Contact there between Adam Elby and Dawson Hess. I don't think Elby appreciated that very much. He's kind of crowding Hess there, but no contact down the front. We do have contact in turn 4. Caution flag waves. And Billy Rowley is involved. See what happens here. Rowley, yeah, he put the slide job in on Christopher Roberts. Looked like those cars were not quite clear. Let me back this up a little bit. I want to see if it's net code or not, and I hope the cameras will cooperate with me. Not net code. He just was not clear. He put the slider in. Wallenfels and File getting wrapped up. Hobson getting some of that as well. There's Jason Randolph on the track. I was certain that he pulled in. Not sure what white car that was, unless he just got in and got a front wing. But that is what brought out the caution. And I do believe Billy Rowley has pulled his car off the track. So, lap 34 becomes our white flag lap. This is your top 10 right now. Lights are out on the pace truck. We're going green next time by. Batista, Hess, Elby, and Newell right now are the drivers who are in the transfer spots. Going green this time by. Still about 15 laps left in this race, so a long way to go. Batista got a really good start there. can see Hess on the bottom side of the racetrack. Not sure if his car's not working up top like he'd like, but this is how Batista was able to make his move on him, and Hess is trying to make the bottom work, but you can see Elby and Newell just carrying much more speed on the outside. Larry Moody right there, trying to fight his way into this race. Dawson Hess right now in the 4th and final transfer. And look who's coming. From the C main, we saw Billy Rowley making a charge, and Trey Schmidt was coming with him. One car into the fence back there. I can't tell who that is, but we are watching Trey Schmidt put the slide job on Dawson Hess and go over the cushion. Trey Schmidt has his charge to the front ended here on lap 23. I'm going to back it up and see what we can tell here. The slide job comes in. This is for a transfer position. Schmidt hops the cushion, catches it the wrong way. And now, at the very least, is going to be relegated to the rear of this field. Unfortunate for Trey Schmidt. Both he and Billy Rowley had charged their way to the front of this field after transferring through the C main. And now both drivers have run into some bad luck. We talked to Rowley in between the C and B main, and he talked about how he's had bad luck all week. And we seen him put that slide job in. He just wasn't clear. And, that's one of those things. When you're coming from the tail, we heard Trey Schmidt talking. He was sending it all night long. And it kind of made a couple of people upset. It is what it is. But when you're coming from the tail, you don't have much time. You've got to put those moves in there and hope they stick. And the idea is to not affect anyone else's race, which neither of those guys seemingly did. But that's the thing. It's very easy for a guy to turn his brain off and say, well, I'm going to send it in here. And all of a sudden, they're putting a right rear into somebody's car and ruining their race. And that's not something that you want to do. But right there, Trey Schmidt going for the transfer spot and ended up hitting the cushion the wrong way and putting himself back to 15th spot in this race, which effectively will keep him out of the A main. Lap 37 becomes our white flag lap. We're going green this time by with 11 laps left in this race. John Batista with a good start there. He's got Adam Elby behind him now, and Weston Newell coming as well. Dawson Hess still working the bottom side of the racetrack. Right now, it is Chris Roberts trying to charge his way back to the front of this field. He started on the pole. And now he goes to the outside of Dawson Hess. Hess crosses over in front of Roberts, but he's unable to hold him off. Behind him, Sean Wallenfels has made a pass around the outside. Hess going to slide up the track, but he leaves Wallenfels room as they're 3 wide off of turn 4. Those drivers amazingly able to stay off of each other. Hess, another slide job in, and now Wallenfels over the cushion. Just not enough room for those guys there. Wallenfels back to 12th. You can see that cushion really building and causing problems. Remember, when we get to tonight's A main, they're going to have 5 more minutes of practice. There's going to be 24 cars on track for 30 laps. Sorry, that 35 laps is the A main, so the track will be in even worse shape. And we can already see how cowboy that cushion is getting after fewer laps, fewer cars out there for this B main. John Batista still leading this race. Weston Newell second, Adam Elby in third, but we are watching the battle for the 4th and final transfer spot. Chris Roberts, who started this race on the pole, had a little bit of contact after catching the cushion wrong, knocked him back to 7th spot, and he has charged his way back into the top 4. Larry Moody has a problem. Crash off of turn 4. Heavy contact with the outside wall. Larry Moody is now out of this race. Let's back it up and see what happened to Larry. You can see him coming up on the back of Dawson Hess. Hess down the racetrack, catches Moody, sends him into the outside wall. John Harper got some of that as well. I do believe that Dawson Hess survived that incident. He is currently showed in 6th spot. Not sure if he will have to claim that caution. There is a caution claiming rule in the DOB. And there are penalties for guys that do not claim the caution. Of course, in normal dirt track racing, if the car is involved in the caution or stops on the racetrack, he is forced to go to the rear of the field. In iRacing, when the caution flag waves, the field is frozen. So let's say you're leading the race and you spin and cause a caution, but you get the car straightened out and back on track before you're passed by anyone, you're technically still the race leader in iRacing. But the DOB has guys claim cautions, which means you take that end-of-line penalty voluntarily, and if you do not voluntarily take it, it can be enforced on you. So we're going to have to see what happens here. Hess still shown in 6th, so I don't think he's going to have to claim that caution. And you never know. There are admins watching. They could rule it a racing incident between Moody and Hess. But I'm just spitballing here. I get paid to talk. All right. Lap 40 is when the white flag will fly. We will be working lap 37 when the green flag comes back here. As John Batista getting ready to bring this race home. Chris Roberts in 4th has the final transfer. Can he hold on? As Craig Dunn, the Aussie, is right there on his back bump. Good start for the Batista, who heads to the outside of the track. Weston Newell to the bottom. Weston trying to mount a charge. Elby on the high side too. Looked like Weston really likes 1 and 2 on the bottom, but then he's heading to the outside in 3 and 4. This time he's going to try a little bit of a different lane through the middle. He is keeping pace with Batista there. 2 laps left in this race. We're taking the top 4 to the main event. We are watching the transfer battle here. Craig Dunn looking to make a move on the outside of Chris Roberts. Caution flag gonna wave. Oh man, Dunn didn't want to see that. There's no way. No way he wanted to see that. I do believe Mr. Hess was involved in this caution. Let's back it up here. Slide job in for Dawson Hess. Catches the cushion wrong, which turns him into Nathan Davis. And down the track into Curtis Merriman, who looks like... I thought he got the worst of it, but seemingly his nose wing came back. Not the case for Nathan Davis, who is now without a nose wing. Ah, man, we were watching Craig Dunn, who was starting to make a move to the outside of Chris Roberts. I know he did not want to see that caution. I think he was starting to get into a groove. You saw him working basically a lane off the bottom to the middle of the racetrack, which is where Weston Newell was running too. I have no doubt that those guys were in the Discord together. Weston probably found some moisture there in the middle of the track and said, Dunny, move up the track, hit that middle. And he did, and he started to get a charge on Roberts for the final transfer right before that caution flag waved. So he's got to find that rhythm once more as we get back to green here. And we will be doing a green-white checkered for all the marbles here. Remember, once the leader takes the white flag, if there is a crash on track, even if the yellow flag flies, we will race to the finish. So, we just got to see if they can get back to the line here to make sure that this race will end under this green-white checkered. Let's go to the race leader, John Batista, going to give him green once more. Weston Newell was able to stay with him. We'll see if Weston can mount a charge. You got to be careful here, though, because all those guys are in right now. That top 4 is in. You don't want to get overly aggressive trying to take a spot. But the guy that has to be aggressive is the 57 of Craig Dunn. He's got Trey Schmidt there behind him. You saw Taylor Howell spinning there on the backstretch, but he got it straightened out before the caution flag waved. White flag in the air for Batista. Craig Dunn has to do something here. You can see Adam Elby backing up to those guys as well. Dunn looking to take that final transfer. Weston Newell trying to make a move on the race leader. Not going to happen. And 4th place is going to go to Chris Roberts here as these guys cross the line and finish tonight's B main. Boy, that was a test of survival there. We have our top 4, however. John Batista, Weston Newell, Adam Elby, and Chris Roberts will move on into tonight's A main. And we're going to get some guys in Discord here to talk to them before we go into the main event. If you're hanging out with us, we appreciate everybody watching out there live on twitch.tv/elbowsuptv. We are also live on the DOB Facebook and YouTube page. We do say, if you have the ability to watch on Twitch, please do switch over to twitch.tv/elbowsuptv because that will move us higher in the Twitch rankings, which will attract more new people to the DOB Racing League, which is the general plan here. So we appreciate everybody hanging out wherever you are hanging out. And we are starting to see some guys roll into the broadcast booth now. We're going to get some interviews here before we head on to the A main. If you're hanging out, don't go anywhere. The main event is coming. We've got the 35-lap feature coming your way momentarily. Now, before we get to that feature, let's talk to the man who took the victory here in tonight's B main, earning his spot into the 410 Knoxville Nationals coming up momentarily. John Batista, I called out before this race. I said the Black Diamond boys are rolling the top really well, and Batista is one of the best here when he's on his game. So you made me look like a genius there, my friend. Congratulations on that win. Talk about that race and how the track played into that, because it seemed like your car was working basically everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like we bring the best cars here every time, and tonight was no different. It was fast for Ernie. When was it? Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and it was fast for me. I didn't try the bottom, but the top is it was crazy good up there. I mean, I might have counter-steered once or twice that whole feature, so it was outstanding, and I was kind of fortunate there with Weston and Chris getting into it at the beginning, but great recovery for Weston getting back into the transfer spot, but yeah, just kind of split the middle of them. It was a pretty close call. I think I almost hit Weston, and that would have ended my race. You know, no front wing, no downforce. It would have been terrible. Yeah, after that, it's kind of just smooth sailing, but I did hear Weston on the inside for quite a few laps on the bottom. I wasn't sure if it was him, but I think it was him that whole time, and maybe a few more laps that inside probably would have came in, but I mean, I was feeling great on the top.
That was something I was going to bring up, actually, because it seemed like the bottom started to come back there. Now, in the A, we're going to have 5 extra minutes of practice with more cars, because we should see the full field of 24, and then we're also going to have 10 more laps in the race. So how do you expect this track to change, and do you feel like you've got a package that's going to allow you to be able to control that? We know you got a long way to go starting 17th, but how do you feel about your chances and how the track is going to play into that?
Yeah, I'm no Daniel Lasoska here, so the bottom probably won't work out for me too well. I used to be pretty good here on the bottom when Knoxville first came out, but again, those tracks are way different than they are now. We were basically running the bottom from the get-go, so if it comes to that, I'll probably be in trouble, and maybe Ernie too, but we'll just hope that the top stay somewhat usable. And I think with our cars being so good up there, honestly, I feel like we have a chance all the way through, whether the track goes back to the bottom or not.
Well, there you have it, your race winner here from the B main, John Batista, moving on to the A. Congratulations, my friend, and good luck out there.
Thanks, sir.
Let's talk to the man who brought it home second. You heard John mention it. He was working the inside of the track to perfection. Weston Newell able to earn that transfer spot. Talk about your race and how the track started to come your way.
Well, to be honest there, Anthony, I dropped down to the bottom there towards the end just because I was getting a little nervous on fuel. I think I ended with like 2 gallons or something, which is plenty, but if I was worried about a couple green-white checkers in a row and maybe getting a little low. So I just dropped it down. I knew that it would come back in, so I tried to drop it down. I'd like to apologize to Kiddo Roberts for taking him out there early. I just didn't want to jump all the way to the bottom from the top. I had such a strong car up there at the beginning of the race, and I just tried to drop my nose down a little bit, and I thought he was going to scoot up the track, and I just made contact with him. But thankfully, he got everything sorted and got back up to the front. Great job by John tonight. I don't think I really could have sniffed him. Like he said, maybe the bottom would have came back in, but to be honest, AJ, a lot of these people in the warm-up were running the bottom, which I thought was very puzzling myself, considering that they were starting 15th, 12th in the B main. You'd think that they would want a lane that they could pass on, but apparently they just wanted a choo-choo train around the top and a crash fest. So those cautions there at the end made me nervous, but I had LB behind me and Roberts behind him. I knew, those guys always run me very clean. I wasn't going to try anything crazy with John, so just kind of held on there towards the end and got the result we wanted. It wasn't pretty, but we made it happen.
That's funny that you bring it up because we talk about the practice sessions, and I've been telling these guys that the practice sessions are there and the length of them to try and work the track in. And, we've got big teams that participate here in the DOB, and there are absolutely team orders to go out there and run certain lines. Some guys will be like, well, man, I want to be on the top, so I'm going to go wear the bottom out. So the top is where I want to be, or vice versa. So it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because that is a part of strategy once we get there. But you also talked about the incident with Chris Roberts. And Batista, of course, he's a bit of a freak here on the top. He seemed to have no issues up there. But we saw Chris Roberts, we saw Trey Schmidt, I think Nathan Davis got bit once. There was a couple of other guys, but it seemed like the curb was really building there in the middle of 1 and 2. And that's what caught Roberts out, which turned him down the racetrack and slowed him up where you made contact. And you said yourself that you were starting to get a little iffy on fuel there, so you went to the inside. So it's kind of interesting to hear all of those different options and the different guys talking about how their cars were set up and everything else. But I'm really interested to see how this next practice session is going to go, to see how these guys try to wear that track in. And that's a hell of a lot of talking with no question. But how do you feel about your chances? What do you expect from this racetrack? And the fact that your car, since you went to the bottom for fuel and it seemingly worked out really well, do you feel like you're going to be down there a little more in this A main?
Oh, without a doubt. But starting as deep as we are all coming out of the B main, we're going to have to be able to work the entire track. Just kind of one of them run where they ain't type things and just try to get up on the wheel and make it work. The slider line was very, very good in that race. It's what I preferred to run when I could. Obviously, if there's traffic in front of you, it can be dangerous and you got to be careful with it. I came up on LB pretty close a few times. I was worried. I think he had said that he had the wrong wing angle on his car, which is unfortunate, but for him to have a 24 wing angle on that slick track and still finish in a transfer spot, that's a shout out to him. Great job. But yeah, overall, I was just really happy with the night. And I don't really have any aspirations for the A main. I'm just happy to make it there, and we'll just try to put on a good show for everybody.
Well, you definitely put on a good show for us there in the B main. So congratulations on that second place finish, and good luck going on to the A.
Thanks a lot, Anthony.
So there you have it. That's your top two from the B main. I haven't seen LB or Chris. Well, Chris is in race control, so he's doing work. So we didn't get a chance to talk to the other two guys transferring tonight, but we did get to talk to the top two, and you hear they're both pretty confident. You know, we talked to Batista. He said he's going to need to be on the top side of the racetrack. Weston doesn't have a whole lot of aspirations of going forward and contending, but he's going to be there as well. So it's just a matter of how everything shakes out. We know, this is a big event. There's a trophy on the line. These guys are going to be aggressive, and that will likely lead to some cautions. The track will continue to wear out. Actually, I want to say this. If we wear this track out enough, that normally plays into a cleaner race at Knoxville, which is kind of funny because at other places it sometimes does not. Like at Eldora, that means that you're going to see more cautions. But at Knoxville, typically, as you wear the track out, you normally get long green flag runs, as long as nobody's being, silly and making goofy moves. I have been joined in the broadcast booth by Chris Roberts, who was the final transfer through the B main into the A. Chris, you sure had a little bit of an issue there that you had to overcome, but you were able to get back in that top four.
Yeah, just getting ready to finish up the session here to make it up. But yeah, it was a little bit of drama. I mean, I kind of knew going into it I was going to try and run the fast line and see how long I could hold them off. And I kind of figured, I might get in somebody's way just because naturally, the top ain't my way. But I knew I had to go up there to just try and hold them off for as long as I could. But about mid-race, the track come to me, the car come alive, and she felt pretty good after that.
How worried were you there as that late caution flew? We saw Craig Dunn start to look to the middle of the racetrack to make a move on you, and then the caution flag flew. Is that something you wanted to see, or were you concerned when that caution waved?
The last yellow, I didn't want to see it one bit. That's I felt comfortable where I was before that yellow and that thing come out. But it worked out. Mid-race there, I was getting a little worried just because I just couldn't go nowhere. And then, like I said, it finally come alive, and I found a line that was working, and was able to put her in the show.
Well, congratulations on getting back in that top four. Good luck here going on to the A main. He's getting ready to set it up, get this lobby rolling, and then we will be moving on to the main event here in the 2019 DOB Advantage Xtreme Lubricants 410 Knoxville Nationals. Getting ready to go here.
Put her in the show, and the session's launching.
Alrighty.
Now let's go for hard charger.
It's definitely out there. Let's see, it's Brown Miller Racing Solutions who has the hard charger award here tonight, isn't it?
Or hook and anchor to Shell and see if he can't tow me to the front. Maybe.
Yeah, we got a lot of really, really solid cars signed into this race. Let's talk about our lineup itself. Justin Thomas and Kevin Click are the two guys on the front row here for tonight's A main. Ernie Williams Jr., who I believe is the favorite going inside row number 2 with Kevin Hanley to his outside. Kendall Tucker and James Tiernan, row 3. Kyle Sosnowski, Braden Eiler, row 4. Tyson Landis, Alex Smolders, row 5. John Lepresto and Jacob Fields, Joshua Steinke, Peyton Grease, Ryan Scheidt, Kyle Stoltz. Then it will be our B main drivers of John Batista and Weston Newell in front of Adam Elby and Chris Roberts. And then the final 4 will be Tyler Schell and Anthony Lepresto and Dylan Workman and Josh Close. Let me tell you, that right there is a star-studded field, especially at Knoxville, especially when it's slick. And we are in for a hell of a race, I got to tell you. 24 cars for 35 laps. And there's going to be so many factors into play as well. Don't forget that Knoxville is one of the bigger tracks that they race on, which also means that fuel is going to play a factor as well. And actually, Facebook chat, Ryan Scheidt saying that he is ineligible for the feature in the same way that Skylar Brown was ineligible for the B main. So that is, God, that really sucks. I hate that we're having some sort of an issue with the lobby here, which is keeping some guys out of the race. You can bet that Skylar Brown would have been in contention there in that B main. And Ryan Scheidt, who's been very, very fast here at Knoxville this week, now getting the same sort of treatment. Scheidt, who was scheduled to start 15th in this race, having trouble getting into the lobby. There didn't seem to be a fix for Skylar Brown there in the B main. I'd love to see something. Okay, Ryan Scheidt saying a reboot of iRacing fixed it. So he's actually been able to join there. We are loading into the A main lobby. Remember, if you're hanging out with us, we're going to have a 20-minute practice session here. So now's the time to get some snacks, do what you need to do before we get going with tonight's A main. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us on twitch.tv/elbowsuptv, the DOB Facebook and YouTube pages. Many places to watch this event here tonight, and you will not be disappointed, that is for sure.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
Well, a little upset with myself, but
we saw you charging there.
Dude, I would have transferred. There is no doubt about it. And that's not me being cocky. I would have transferred if I was in this rotation. I got excited and I feel bad that I got into Chris, but at least he transferred and it didn't kill his race. I would have felt worse if it killed his race, but no, that was truthfully probably the best car. That's what I spent 300 laps yesterday working on. That was probably the best car I ever got here. That thing was fast as hell.
I think it was 7th place that you were battling for there when it just didn't seem like you cleared the nose of the 93, but it was a hell of a run up to that point.
Well, what happened was Harper on the bottom got a really good run down the straightaway. And Chris really didn't. So I went to the bottom and thought maybe if I get a good enough drive, I can slide him. And I went back and watched it on replay, and I literally clipped him by like 2 inches. So if I would have just drove it in a little bit farther on the bottom, it'd have been all right. But hey, things happen. It was still fun. It would have been cool to transfer through, but hey, you get to deal with me now for another 30 laps.
Yeah, we got about 15 minutes left in this practice session here as we get ready for the A main. We were talking to Weston Newell about how the track is being worn in practice. And this overview shot really gives you a good idea of what these guys are doing. Weston was kind of upset that guys were running the bottom in practice and wearing it out. You can see the majority of guys on the outside right now working that high lane in, trying to drive it up the track, which is going to allow the middle and bottom to come in quicker.
Truthfully, in that B, I went to the bottom once or twice and had zero issues down there. I think the bottom was just as good as the top, truthfully. At the beginning of the race, for sure, it wasn't, but it was pretty good.
Jacob Fields is the man who has the fastest lap in practice right now, and that will probably stick now that the track is starting to wear in. Ernie Williams Jr. second, John LaPresto third, fourth Braden Eiler, fifth place belonging to Adam Elby. And we will practice for a long enough amount of time where those laps will basically mean nothing because we're not going to reset this track. The track will carry over to tonight's race, and the guys that are running fast laps at the end of practice will be the ones to really watch out for in the early going of the 35-lap A main event.
Yeah, and I was honestly worried about that because in the B main practice I was 12th quick, 13th quick, something like that, and I was like, we might be in trouble. And as soon as the green came out, I knew it was in good shape. So practice times in this don't really mean a lot. I mean, the usual suspects are up front, but then you got Tyler Shell, Weston Newell that are always fast here. You got them kind of down the charts a little bit. So, and especially like James Tiernan is down the charts. So James is a guy that likes it when the track gets slick. Peyton's another guy when the track gets slick. So this is going to be a hell of a race.
We definitely got a star-studded field here that's getting ready to do battle. Let's talk about some of the teams involved in this race. We've got Mode Motorsports, Black Diamond, Swindell Speed Labs, Elbows Up Speed Sport, Elbows Up Sim Sport, my own team, can't even say it right. We've got Kinzer Sim Team. I don't think we've got a representative of the Dave Blaney Sim Team, actually. No KKR guys out there as well. But you could tell,
Yeah,
I mean, we've
Sheridan
got some...
decided I'm wrong. Oh, well, and that's the thing anymore. What we've all been talking about these last few weeks, setup is becoming a very, very big piece with these builds. The more they take the cushion away, it's less of a crutch. It's less of a crutch, and you're having to start moving around the racetrack more. So your setup becomes more into play. You can't just rail the cushion for 35 laps generally. You got to be good everywhere. So the team aspect of it is very important, and especially if you've got those guys that understand the Motec software or VRS, that know how to tune shocks, that know how to get weight transfer and everything else. I mean, there's guys in the Cup Series that, or the Peak Series, I guess I should say, that they sit on the simulator, they sit on this thing all day long and just run laps and look at it on telemetry. So sprint cars are starting to get that way. Not fully, but getting there.
You know, you were doing work on the shocks this week. You got that telemetry on the shocks and able to dial them in. A big key here in the sprint cars.
I ran 327 laps of practice yesterday. I literally had to quit because I was starting to sweat, not because of my arm movement. I'm not that fat, people. But literally my wheel was getting hot. So I was turning so many laps trying to get things dialed in. But tonight actually made me happy that it worked out the way that I didn't want it to. It didn't end the way that I wanted to, but the car had speed. That's what I was most happy with.
We're sitting here watching the Black Diamond 91 of Ernie Williams Jr., who I am on record as saying is the favorite going into tonight's event. Who do you think is really the guy that you got to watch out for tonight, Billy?
All of them. No, I truthfully looking at the sheet here, hands down, this is a very tough field, very, very tough. It's hard to go against Ernie because Ernie was just absolutely dominant the other night. LB starting deep, he's always a threat. Eiler, if this thing gets around the cushion, Eiler's going to be a scary one to watch. Kevin Click starting on the outside of the front row. I'm a little partial, teammate of mine, but he's been extremely fast these last few weeks, and he's very good at car control, just keeping the thing smooth, letting the race develop. Kendall Tucker's always quick. Steinke's extremely fast. Truthfully, I think the Black Diamond guys are probably the ones to beat. Batista, Steinke, Ernie. So this is going to be a barn burner, but I truthfully think the Donnie shots of the field would be Ernie Williams. I think you're looking at. I personally, for me, your top three is going to be impartial. I think Ernie's going to take the win. Kendall Tucker second, Kevin Quick third. That's my guess.
It's hard to argue with for sure. Let's see, we've got about 8 minutes left here in practice before we get ready to go green. 35 laps of feature action coming your way momentarily. Watching Justin Thomas there for a moment. He is starting tonight from the pole. Had a perfect night on Monday, which gave him the amount of points that he needed to start this race in front of everybody else, which is exactly where he wants to be. David Heileman getting beat up on in the chat a little bit, having a little fun with him. Here's Josh Close, the guy who was the final transfer from last night's Hard Knocks event. He's right there doing battle with Dylan Workman, who also transferred through the Hard Knocks event that we were talking to. You know what? You want to talk about a dark horse? I think this is a pretty good shout out right here, Mr. James Tiernan. We were talking to him in between the C and B main in Discord. This is a driver who has a win at Knoxville in DOB competition this season, with and without the wing. So he's a guy that we will probably hear of throughout the race. Starting in 6th spot here tonight is Mr. Tiernan. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us here tonight. We are getting ready to go green with our main event in 5 minutes. Ryan Scheidt in the 10 there. You can see him getting in on the cushion, having a little bit of an issue. He was the driver who was worried about getting in because he was unable to sign in to the race there for a moment. Everybody's still wearing this track in. And you can see the wear pattern out there. Should see 3 distinct lines before the end of the evening.
And we got another special guest.
Who we got?
The Flying Aussie. Wicked Cushion driver Craig Dunn.
The first guy.
Definitely not flying. Definitely not flying.
Hey, I'm just glad that I wasn't the one that... Tyler in Discord was like, you do realize that you just fenced Dunn, right? And I immediately just felt terrible. And then I watched the replay and realized it wasn't you. I still felt bad about it, but I felt better that it wasn't.
No, it was all good. It was a tough race. I wish the start would have went a little bit better, but you get that.
The first driver missing out on tonight's A main. We were watching as you were making a charge on Chris Roberts there before that final caution come out. And I was on record as saying I don't think he really wanted to see that caution. So now you can confirm with us how you felt when that caution flag flew.
Yeah, look, man, I didn't want the caution. I was closing on Kiddo pretty well there, and I don't know, it just caution came out. I needed another 2 or 3 laps. I think I was a little bit quicker than Kiddo, but props to him. He held it and transferred through. I would have been a lot happier without the contact at the start of the race. That's where I would have been happier.
I don't know if we actually got to see that. I'm not sure if we did or not.
Look, it was unfortunate. Hess just sort of went from the top to the bottom and hit my right front and almost turned me, so it put me back to about 15. So it was fun coming back through, but it was.
Now that you mention it, we did get to see that actually, and we have so much action in these races. I almost forgot that fact that you dropped that far back. It's really impressive that you were able to get back to 5th.
Yeah, look, on a track like that, there's a few different lines. You got the top working, the slider line was good, and towards the end there, the middle in 1 and 2 was pretty good as well. So that's all benefit. Hopefully for this A main, we get a good track like that where it's multiple lines and it's not just follow the leader around the top or the top being the quick spot. So hopefully this can be good.
These drivers are definitely out there working on it. That's for sure.
Well, and I honestly thought that B main track was awesome. I thought
it was good.
I thought it was fantastic. Like you could stick the bottom, you could run the top, you could go really wherever you wanted to, and it was fairly equal. That was this last update that they did. I think it's badass. I think it has made the sprint car racing so much better, and it's a lot more fun to drive.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Billy. The last update's been fantastic. I think it gives you multiple lines, which I think everyone wanted. Obviously, you still have your quick guys that just know where to run and when to run those lines. I'd like to try and see a couple more quick Aussies get through and run the Knoxville Nationals for DOB. But with us guys, being in the morning time, it's a bit difficult. But we'll see.
What time is it out there for you?
Right, at the moment, it is 1:45 in the afternoon.
See, there you go.
I was lucky I had the day off, so yeah.
So technically, I'm in Australian time. I'm having day beers. That's even better.
Absolutely,
See,
mate.
Okay, and then
it's 10 o'clock somewhere. Isn't that the rule?
Yeah. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. That's the rule.
That's it. It's 10 o'clock somewhere. Once it's 10 o'clock somewhere, you can go all out.
Well,
and actually Corey's still in my stream. Corey was one of the ones that truthfully got me kind of started with streaming, and Corey has no life 13. He's a fantastic dude, funny streamer. But I love to watch him in the mornings when. But he said where he's at, it's 10:42 a.m. So he's on the West Coast then.
Yeah, that would be in Western Australia.
I gotta go to Australia.
Freaking Australia's big, man.
Done. If me and AJ fly down to Australia to go watch sprint car racing, can we stay at your house?
Oh, absolutely. We'll get a Barbie. We'll get a Barbie on, and we'll get a.
Will there be any Sheilas there? That's the question.
Oh, mate, we could get a few here. I think we could get some happening.
Plans are happening.
Do they need to be in bikinis or just
casual wear for sure?
Casual wear. For sure.
We can do that.
As look good in a bikini.
So here you see it. The salute to all of you out there in Twitch land, Facebook land, YouTube land. 4 wide salute from our 24 drivers getting ready to do battle here at the virtual Knoxville Raceway for the 2019 DOB Advantage Xtreme Lubricants 410 Knoxville Nationals. 69 degrees the air temp helps preserve that racetrack. When we get to go green here, you can see they've been running for 20 minutes to wear this bad boy in exactly how they want. Missing man formation. That is a Greg Hodnett salute here. It's that time of year where we run into all of those dates that we hate so much. Mr. Clausen and Hodnett, Jason Johnson, all the good guys that we've lost in past years. There's been plenty throughout the years. That missing man, so very important to all of us here.
And hey, I want to just give a shout out to I don't know if he'll ever see this, but Grady Chandler out in Oklahoma, we're thinking of you, buddy, and really hope you make it through as good as you possibly can, and we're wishing the best for you, man. We're all thinking of you.
Well, there you see it. Checkered flag has flown on practice. Everybody out there having a little bit of fun. It's the last chance they're going to get for fun here.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Who do you got in this one, Craig?
Look, it's going to be hard to go by the Black Diamond guy, especially if the cushion's there. If the cushion's there and it's fast, they've got it working. That's just fact, you know. But if the bottom's there, look, there's plenty of guys that can run it, you know. Shell can run the bottom pretty good. James Tiernan's, I think, is a bit of a dark horse. Look, and even, you know, my man Weston Newell, I think he can run the bottom as good as anyone. And if it's there, then he's got a shot to come through. It just really depends on where the lines are going to be and how quick they're going to be. And I think it's anyone's race, to be honest.
I was just getting ready to say my dark horse for this, Weston Newell. That dude, for whatever reason, if there's a long race and it is a slick racetrack, he's going to the front. As long as he can stay out of trouble early and not get himself in any trouble, he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Kevin Click has a good shot. You know, he's Mr. Consistent. But yeah, Weston's one of those guys that the slicker it gets, the quicker he gets, and he's just really good in that slick track. And yeah, he's going to be one to watch out for.
You see the fireworks going off in air. The celebration's beginning. We're about to go racing for 35 laps at the virtual Knoxville Raceway. Justin Thomas, Kevin Click, Ernie Williams Jr., Kevin Hanley, Kendall Tucker, James Tiernan, Kyle Sosnowski, Braden Eiler, Tyson Landis, Alex Smolders, John LaPresto, Jacob Fields, Joshua Steinke, Peyton Grease, Ryan Scheidt, Kyle Stoltz, John Batista, Weston Newell, Adam Elby, Chris Roberts, Tyler Shell, Anthony LaPresto, and Dylan Workman and Josh Close. Rounding out your field. We talked about it, 35 laps the distance. That's a long race. There's a lot that can happen in that amount of time. The track is going to change consistently. Anybody can win this thing. We've got some great cars at the rear of the field, but they've got to make sure they're not in the cautions and catch them correctly. We are getting ready to go green with the Advantage Xtreme Lubricants 410 Knoxville Nationals. Off of turn 4, Justin Thomas gives them green. Underway here at the virtual Knoxville Raceway. Thomas to the bottom of the track. Kevin Click goes to the high side. He's going to get passed by Ernie Williams Jr., who looks to set the tone early. You see behind them James Tiernan battling off Kevin Hanley, who made a little bit of contact with Braden Eiler there. Billy, we're trying to get these guys sorted out, but you can see everybody jockeying for position early here. Right now, Tyson Landis putting the slider on the 98 of Tiernan. Up front, we've got a race for second place. Kendall Tucker to the inside of the 91 of Williams. They nearly make contact down the backstretch there. Tucker going to take control of that spot. Ernie looking to the outside, trying to find that cushion. Justin Thomas right now is basically a lane off the bottom. He's found a little bit of moisture there. And right now is running. That last lap was one of the fastest laps of the race. Kyle Sosnowski also turning some really quick laps. Sosnowski actually is up to third place in this race. He has charged from what I think was 7th place where he started. And now we've got a race for the lead. Justin Thomas has the 39 of Kendall Tucker to his inside. Tucker taking control of the race on the bottom, and now Sosnowski starting to reel these two in. Ernie Williams Jr. on the outside. He's got Eiler and Tiernan to the inside.
5 laps in, Tyler Schell, 21st to 11th, is just being an absolute madman on the bottom right now.
You can see him coming into that picture as well. That's Schell right there.
I think
working the bottom.
I think they worked this racetrack so much that the top side is officially gone. You can see Ernie starting to struggle. And here comes Schell again.
And he is being really aggressive, trying to get to the inside of Fields there. You can see Fields not wanting to give away that line. Absolute fantastic charge from Schell here. Trying to work the inside of Tyson Landis. You can see Ernie Williams Jr. dropping back right now. Billy was talking about the outside of this track seemingly pretty wore in. Now, I do believe that it's going to come back in the middle portion of this race. So don't count the top side out just yet. We will see some guys head to the top and make some stuff happen. You can see Schell, a little bit of contact there with Fields as he gets to the inside and takes over 8th spot. Back out front, Kendall Tucker is stretching his lead on the now second place Kyle Sosnowski, who has made his way around the 9 of Justin Thomas. And look, don't look now, the dark horse pick, James Tiernan in the 98, working his way forward there on the low side of the track. Elbows Up Simsport having a pretty good showing here, making some passes on their way to the front. Kevin Click side by side with Braden Eiler. Eiler is making his way forward as well. Ernie Williams Jr., surprisingly, Billy, he is going in the opposite direction.
Well, but like we talked about the other night in the prelim when he went from 18th to 2nd or whatever it was, or 18th to the win, the top side was there, and right now it's not. They've all gone and wore the top out to the point where it's really, really hard to get any grip up there and not let the cushion throw you. You got to be really, really careful now because the middle's going to start coming in. But just like we saw in the 360 Nats, the middle is going to be good for a little bit, and then it's going to go away. I know that firsthand. But Old Gumby here is the man on the move. We're 14 laps in, 21st to 6th at 20 to go.
And we got our eyes on him. He has been on a charge. He's working Braden Eiler right now. And this entire pack, ooh, a little bit of contact there with Eiler. Eiler hopping on the cushion. He's got that thing straightened out. He's not going to be happy with the 85 of Schell. But Schell now into the top 5. And that's the thing. You've got to squeeze your way to the inside on this slick Knoxville track. Schell likes the bottom right now. As I was talking, problems for Ryan Scheidt. Not sure what's going on there. He's heading to the pits. As I was talking, this entire pack is catching the rear of Justin Thomas and Kyle Sosnowski. They are charging up. As those guys move up the racetrack, it seems like the Elbows Up Simsport drivers have the bottom really on lockdown right now. Let's take a look here at the race leader, too, who's entering turn 3. He is stretching his lead. Kendall Tucker, my Lord, has the fastest lap in this race at a 17.428, and that is 0.2 quicker than anybody else.
Yeah, this is just the way that this race is shaping out. It's not, I mean, Kendall being out front's not a surprise at all. But the way that the track is wearing it is pretty quick. And then here we go. We got Justin Thomas coming back around the top run since Knoxville.
Taylor Howell in the Facebook chat also pointing out that his teammate Josh Close started last in this race and is now running 12th. Let's take a quick look at him in that 7 car as he is doing battle with Chris Roberts and the 71 of Lepresto. There's Close working away. We're trying to keep an eye on this battle for second place. Justin Thomas has gotten back around Kyle Sosnowski, and now Sosnowski has the 98 of Tiernan to his inside. Now let's talk about this, Billy, because this race has run under green flag conditions all the way. We know that these guys like to run as a little amount of fuel as possible so that they can save on weight. Each gallon of fuel is 7 pounds of weight in these cars. But when you run a whole lot of green flag laps, that can cause you issues. If these guys are trying to cut weight by using or by getting rid of some fuel, all of a sudden they can find themselves out of this race in the late going if we continue to stay green. First mistake from Tyler Schell as he caught the berm there. He took over 3rd spot and then caught the berm and lost a couple of positions. Really, we've seen him charge from the rear of this field. First time we've seen him slip up.
And I will guarantee you that fuel is not going to be a concern for either Shell or Tiernan, because they will not run those cars out of fuel. But amazing race being green to checkered. So for green to till now, 25 laps in. So we got about 10 to go, and the complexion of the race is just changing a ton, because in warm-ups you think, okay, it's going to be all around the fence, and now it's just all around the bottom and through the middle.
It's been an interesting thing. You can see Ernie Williams trying to work that cushion in. We were pretty confident that that cushion was going to come in eventually. It has not yet. I cannot say enough about Kendall Tucker out front of this race. He is absolutely on a rail, and that car continues to pull away from everybody else.
He is 0.4 faster than second place right now. I mean, just the amount of speed that he has, it's unreal. I got to put it to him. The Swindell SimSport team's unreal, absolutely unreal. Donnie shots like, as we would like to say at Knoxville.
Really unstoppable at the moment. And these guys right here who are battling it out for 2nd through 5th are really just hoping for a caution. But even a caution at this point, there's not going to be much time left to make a charge. See James Tiernan holding off Tyler Schell for 3rd right now. Tiernan is about a half a lane up. Schell right down there on that berm. And Justin Thomas holding on to 2nd spot at the moment. He's working the middle of the racetrack. Sosnowski right there still holding on to a top 5 spot. Ernie Williams is behind them in 6th. And this race is winding down. Kendall Tucker getting into lap traffic. That's Peyton Grease that he's working the outside of right there. Grease giving Kendall some room. Looked like he lifted getting into turn 1. He's not cutting him any slack down the backstretch, however. So Kendall Tucker being forced to go the long way around. 2 laps to go this time by. Kendall Tucker out front has put on an absolute clinic. We have run green all the way. And as he comes off of turn 4, he's going to be looking at the white flag. 4 more corners.
And Tiernan, both of them by
Thomas
Justin.
here.
Oh.
Yep, that's Thomas fighting back. But now with the white flag flown, even if the caution flag comes out, there is no stopping the 39 of Kendall Tucker, who comes off of turn 4 and takes the win in the Advantage Xtreme Lubricants 410 Knoxville Nationals. Green to checkered under green flag conditions, and the Swindell
Unreal.
Speed Lab driver
Unreal.
picks up the big win.
You know, as much as the Swindell Speed Lab guys get grief for a lot of, they're aggressive. We'll put it that way. They're aggressive. I'll leave it at that. But my God, they're fast. My God, they're fast.
Kendall Tucker out there getting his celebrations in. Led most of this race in absolute dominating fashion, picking up the win here, and actually getting disqualified for driving backwards on the track in his victory celebration. So we won't be able to see him out there on track. There is second and third place, Justin Thomas and James Tiernan. Tiernan, who started in the 6th position, I do believe. Tyler Schell was the man who come home in 4th. He started in 21st, so big charges there. Just an absolutely fantastic night of racing, and we ended it quite well. We're going to get these guys in Discord here. We're going to pull Kendall in and interview the main man right off the bat, Kendall Tucker, the Swindell Speed Lab driver, getting out front and never looking back. Fastest laps in the race, holding that bottom line, and nearly half-tracking the field there. Fantastic run there, Kendall. Talk about that car and how good it was.
Hey, and Kendall, before you say anything, I know we've had run-ins before, and I know that you guys catch a lot of hell. That was probably the most dominating performance I've ever seen on iRacing in the year that I've been on it.
I appreciate that.
Hell of
Thank you, man.
So, Kendall, you were working the bottom side, and we had talked about how the guys were practicing on this track and how everybody was going to be trying to maybe wear out a lane that they weren't going to use. We saw a lot of guys on the top in practice, and it seemingly took the top out of this race. You worked the bottom basically the entire race and never had an issue. How was that car?
Man, I mean, that thing was it was pretty hooked up. I mean, obviously, if you could say, I mean, it was pretty fun to drive. But I mean, I really had to get up on the wheel. I mean, I know it looks pretty easy to roll it like that, but I'm telling you, I'm really having to work the wheel just back and forth, just keeping it on that berm like that. I mean, if you can do it, I mean, it's really fast, obviously. So, just really, I mean, I know I'm not a topside guy, especially in these cars yet, but just found a line on the bottom right there that I don't think anybody else could really run but me, and just kind of stuck to it and was just hoping the track was going to be slick. I'm just glad it was, and just think the 360 Nationals kind of slipped away from us. We was running the same exact line, and was coming up through there. We had some terrible luck. We had to come from 12th like 3 different times, and was still up there in contention for the win at the end. Just things didn't work out, but yeah, this 410 deal was pretty fun, and I just was trying to. I know I was just going to last night. Was just trying to get a good starting spot for tonight, and just position myself, just be patient, wait for that track to get slick, and just hit my line and just run it and just take off. I think I really could have lapped up more than I did, and I don't even know who I was behind. I just knew I had such a big lead. I wasn't really going to try and push anything, and I didn't want to just get a bunch of people stacked up together and maybe cause a precaution. I was just really just ready for it to be over.
How surprised were you to see that race went green to checkered? It's not something we normally experience, especially in a big race like this, where a lot of guys are trying to be aggressive and make the positions up, but it worked out fantastic for you.
Yeah, I just knew that bottom was going to be there. I mean, that line down there is just super tricky. You got to have your car hooked up just right, and you just got to really just know how to drive it and just be smooth lap after lap. And really was just trying to do that this whole deal. I don't think I ran a single lap up top, maybe 3 or 4 in the prelim just because it was tacky up there. It wasn't slick, but yeah, I just knew I was going to set up for the bottom down there and just stick to it. I probably could have ran 16 or 17 gallons of fuel. I didn't need 28 or 29, however much we ran.
Well, you had a lot of fuel on board, but that definitely didn't slow him down. Kendall Tucker, congratulations on the big win here in the Nationals. He's taking home the trophy. Well done, my friend. You've definitely earned it.
Yeah, I just got to thank all my guys at Speed Lab. I'm going to be honest, I didn't do anything to this setup. It just, I thank James Edens and all the guys over there. They do a great job just getting a fast piece underneath me and just as long as I can just do my part and just stay out of trouble and stay out of the fence, I think we can just keep being up front in these deals, and just got to thank Jeff Brown with Racing High Flag, and that's about it. Just all the guys at Speed Lab and Chris for putting these deals on. It's as close as you're going to get to the real thing. So just thanks to him for all the time he puts into this stuff, and you too, AJ, for all the broadcasts and stuff. It's a pretty cool thing.
There you have it, your race winner
Congrats
here
again,
tonight
Tucker.
in the DOB Advantage Xtreme Lubricants 410 Knoxville Nationals. Kendall Tucker, your winner. Let's talk to the man who came home in second place, Mr. Justin Thomas. Started on the pole. Justin probably wanted a little bit more out there, but second place is a pretty good finish. Talk to us about that race.
First off, hats off to Kendall. He opened up a can of whoop ass on all of us, and just hats off to him, man. He was so smooth down there and rolling the berm. It was impressive. That was awesome. My race was it was good. I made some setup adjustments that didn't really fit the car before the feature started, and so I was a tick on the loose side. So I couldn't run down there like Kendall did, or I don't even know who passed me in the beginning there besides Kendall. I don't even know who that was. But I just couldn't run down there with the rest of them. I was way too loose. So I just had to find a new line, and luckily I found a sweet spot there in the middle where I can just keep up my momentum and get a lot of power off the corner, and that just helped me maintain that second spot.
It seemed like that middle line really worked out for you there. And I talk about the track itself. How surprising was it that it seemingly nobody was able to make the top side work? You seemed early on you were basically a lane off the bottom making it work, and then had to shake it around. But this is not the typical DOB racetrack that we're used to as well.
No, this was a huge curveball. I knew in the hot lap session that it was going to be damn near impossible to run the top. I knew that if I went up there, I was going to lose a bunch of spots. So I just stay committed to that bottom and middle. And if the bottom doesn't work out for you, just kind of inch your way up towards that wall, because that cushion was just undrivable. You couldn't run the cushion at all. You would spin out, just so much loose dirt up there. So that I'm sure that kind of killed a lot of the other guys' runs up through the field and stuff. But the fact that we went 35 laps with no cautions, man, that's just incredible. It's a huge testament to these guys that we race out here with. It was really awesome to see a race go green to checkered like that. I know it's probably a snoozer, but I was really happy without the caution fest for sure.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I got to tell you, it was fantastic to watch
you just
guys.
like it because you can go to bed earlier.
Well, that's an added bonus. We don't even need to mention that. But I got to tell you, it was great watching you out there, Justin. Congratulations on that second place finish. You did quite well.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for DOB for putting this race on, and all my guys over at Mode Motorsports. The Swindell guys. We all work as a cohesive unit, even though I didn't run what they were on, obviously. But also to James for running me clean there at the end. That was a lot of fun racing side by side with him for the last 6 laps. Of course, my dad, my girlfriend who were watching as well. So, and you guys for broadcasting as well. Thank you very much.
There you have it, second place, Justin Thomas. Let's talk to the man who brought it home third in the 98, Mr. James Tiernan. James, you had to come from sixth in this race, and you had a teammate back here who was working you as well, who come from way back. Talk about that race and how surprising it was, just quite different from what we normally see here at Knoxville.
Yeah, absolutely. You really didn't see anybody make moves on the top like we normally do. I thought it was a lot of fun. I made, I think, a couple mistakes there on the bottom and the berm. The exit of 3 and 4 was just weird. You had to cut it low to stay on the moisture, and hit the berm too much, it'd kind of shoot you off. But overall, I had a fantastic race. I had Tyler there start to get me nervous, and I think he got past me a little bit, but then made the same mistakes I've been making in 3 and 4, and just didn't have an opportunity to pass me back. But excellent race by him, coming back from 21st. Good to see a teammate do that.
We've talked to you a couple of times here recently, and you talk about how the team seemingly is starting to really catch on. How does it feel to come home on the podium in a big race like this with basically everybody out there battling?
It's more and more validation for this team, man. Just again, I keep mentioning it from the start of this season to now. We're kicking so much ass; it's unbelievable. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. Thank you again, Billy, for having me be a part of this deal because it's something special. And I think next season we're gonna be the guys.
I know talent when I see it. Don't think that I don't. All right, that was a bit conceited. No, I'm happy for you, buddy. It was a good run. I'm glad that you ran up front, and it was a very good run. I'm impressed with you guys more and more every single week. You and Tyler and Shay and everybody at Elbows Up works really well together. And somebody had posted a few months ago about one of the worst teams, and I think Elbows Up has 5 or 6 DOB wins, and that makes me pretty proud. So you guys just need to slow down because the guy that's running the show doesn't even have one because he sucks. So you guys need to slow it up a little bit here for me, Captain.
We got the blatant nepotism section here in the broadcast, so we'll check that box.
I'm not even going to deny that. I'm not even going to deny it.
Congratulations, James. Top 3 finish here in the Advantage Xtreme Lubricants 410 Knoxville Nationals. Well done.
Appreciate it, AJ. Pleasure talking to you as always.
So there you have it. That's your top 3. I do have the hard charger in here as well. Tyler Shell, 21st to 4th. Tyler, that was a hell of a charge, man.
Yeah, it was. I wish I didn't jump the berm. I was by James, and I think I was a little faster than Justin there, so could have been 21st to 2nd. I had nothing for Kendall. He's in another zip code, but still a good run. A lot of fun. Glad it went green to checkered.
He's going to be the recipient of the Brown and Miller Racing Solutions Hard Charger Award tonight here, after I think also winning some Wicked Energy Gum earlier this week as well. But the main man, Kendall Tucker, is the one who's going to bring home the JZ iRacing Photography Winners Trophy. War Faction Esports going to pick him up a sticker pack as well. Special thanks to Advantage Xtreme Lubricants for putting this event on. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun here, 4 nights this week, and you can tell why we put so much emphasis behind the DOB and what they do, man. Just an absolute great time, great racing, and plenty of fun here throughout the week. Want to say thank you to Corey Has No Life, Stay Salty, Aussie Sim Commentator, and the Kitbo Gaxon for the follows as well. We've had a lot of fun on Twitch tonight, and actually, before we sign off, I'm going to find somebody else to host here, send them some people so that we can have a good time. Is the Tuna Can still streaming as well? What in the world? Maybe we'll send him over to Billy since he's hanging out. Probably having a few drinks here on Thirsty Thursday, getting some late night racing in, I am sure. Man, I've had so much fun doing this stuff. This has been absolute great fun this week. Great racing. We finally got the internet problems fixed. I had to cuss a couple of people out, but you do what you got to do, you know.
More importantly, we don't have to go to Knoxville until what, like week 12, Chris, next season?
You told me you wanted it week 1 next season.
No, absolutely not. I am so tired of Knoxville. Literally, I could scream. I'm so tired of Knoxville.
We'll try to push that back to the second half of the season, but I mean, once again, AJ, what a hell of a show there for the A-Main.
It's definitely a lot of fun. Now, I was with the way things were going, you know, green to checkered. I love green to checkered, but there with that battle for second, I was like, man, maybe if we got a yellow, but I don't think anybody had anything for Kendall. Even if we got a yellow, that was probably the end of it right there. So,
that's what I heard. Getting ready try and find a good shot for the winner's photo there, and I see he's checked out by a mile. I mean, that's great job to Kendall there. You know, congrats on the win, and I mean, just once again, guys, you know, as always, thanks for the continued support. And I asked, you know, let's make this final race of the week a good one, and they didn't disappoint. Green to checkered.
They never do. They never do. Next week, we are back to normal DOB competition, the final 2 weeks of the season as we wind down our championship battles. So we hope you will join us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday night as we get back going after this special event. Big props to Kendall Tucker and the Swindell Speed Lab team who took home the victory tonight here in the virtual 410 Knoxville Nationals. Want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. Go ahead.
And final note, everybody, Dylan Workman actually said that he was buying drinks at the Virtual Dingus. So everybody head over to Virtual Dingus.
There you go.
Good.
Hey, that was Peyton. That was Peyton that said that.
Nope, it's too late now. It's
Nope,
been said.
too late now. I designated it. You don't know how Drunk Billy operates, so hey, thanks to the beer.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube. We're going to host Mr. Billy as he parties into the night. I'm going to bed. We'll catch you next week, Tuesday night. See you then.